Ba-ba-ba-da-ba-bo. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 7 of Lovely Night for It. That's right, I'm actually bringing this back. I know it's been a while, and I don't know if you've noticed, but we have a brand new setup. I'm using an actual microphone, and despite the fact that I have it turned off because I feel there's no need for it, I also have a webcam. That's right. DIDDLOTIC is going into the future. No more recording off of a cell phone. No more cheap audio. I still might not have editing software, to be honest, but we are moving along anyway. So I know it's been a while since you've heard from me. I think somewhere in the last year. And I don't know, maybe you're wondering where I've been. Nobody's wondering where I've been. But if you were, I've been doing a lot of live streaming over at twitch.tv/DIDDLOTIC, spelled the same way as the username you see over there. You know where I'm pointing to, over there, right over there. And I've been playing a lot of AC Valhalla and Call of Duty multiplayer. It's really been sort of what's been keeping me going, because I was doing these podcasts and I quickly realized that without actually having a second person there or somebody to at least bounce my dumb fucking jokes or shitty ideas off of, it was just me telling stories at nobody, at nothing. There was nothing to really keep me grounded. To be fair, that's sort of what's happening now too, but I just feel the need that I can actually say something right now. So I've been doing a lot of Twitch streaming because that's a bit more interactive until I really get this channel off the ground. Where else have I been? I've been taking a bit of a break from everything because I've been in a really shitty place mentally. And I've spent my whole life really not accepting that sort of shit happens. But everyone has shitty days, and I'm at the point now in my life to where dodging that to the point of denial, then to the point of driving myself literally crazy. Like I've had some really shit times recently. Isn't worth it. So I've been really low motivationally, and that's just been because I've had a lot of shit going on. As some of you know, I at one point was very involved in current events and recent things, and if you know where I stand on a lot of things, it hasn't exactly been going my way. So that made me much worse, much worse than normal. But because of that, I've actually started addressing it. I've finally gotten to the point where I decided that addressing mental health and all that sort of shit that I used to horribly make fun of is actually worth it, because the outcome is better than ignoring it. And because of that, I've been talking to an ex-girlfriend of mine, a very close person to me even to this day, a girl I dated in high school, who is herself a podcast host, who addresses a lot of mental health issues and helping people along. She was going to school to be a therapist and psychologist. Up until recently, I believe she switched into something else, but she still does this as a hobby. And she came to me after seeing I must have posted something to social media that gave a clue as to my situation. And she came to me offering me help. She drafted up this whole plan of how to deal with these anxiety, panic attacks that I've been getting for the past few months, and different things I could do to try to improve my situation. And one of those things actually is journaling. And I never would have thought that journaling would be a worthwhile endeavor, because when you journal, it's really just you talking to you. The plan is that nobody actually sees it in the end. But when you bring something from the inside of your head to the outside, it's actually it actually works. Like there are these I'm trying to remember what they're called now. Five things you're thankful for and 5 affirmations. She says write those 5 of each per day. 5 things you're thankful for in your life, in the world, whatever it may be, and 5 affirmations as to qualities about yourself that you are confident in, which me being a self-deprecating hunk of garbage, it was very hard for me to start doing not and also take it seriously, because I at first wanted to make a big joke out of it, but that doesn't work in the long run. So that has been helping me along a little bit, actually forcing myself to sit down and externalize these things, these qualities about myself that I never really thought about. Because as much as I talk a lot of shit about my own personality and my own experiences, because I do it for humor, as well as just factually addressing shitty things I've done in my life, because I've done a lot, there are things in the back of your head that are actually positives, that no matter how negative you are, they're there. And it's a matter of fishing them out. And it's been a trip doing that. I have written here on my notes, and I'm gonna break that little fourth wall here, about talking about a dream I had after I started. Of course, this is going to probably catch me a lot of shit. I probably should have started out with this, as well as the journaling and talking to my ex as pretty much my therapist. I've started meditating. Yeah, I've started doing something called vibrational transcendental meditation. I learned about the whole TM thing through David Lynch and his foundation and a million things. You know, when you go down the rabbit hole on YouTube, sometimes you find weird shit. And going through you go from a Twin Peaks video down to David Lynch talking about philosophy. But I decided to give it a go, and my first experience of actually mentally transcending, my whole body went numb. It was really cool. Sadly, every time I meditate, I'm not still able to get that initial high. But then again, they say to go into it without expectations, and maybe deep down I'm holding expectations, which is, preventing me from actually going in depth where I'd like to go. But I have written here my a weird dream from it, and I can't remember a fucking thing about that dream, which really sucks, because it was interesting. It was something about a one of my exes that I am not on good terms with, and it was video game themed. I'm really wishing now I fucking wrote it down, because everything I just told you is everything I remember about it to this to this moment. But I guess the gist of it is doing that sort of thing and delving into your own subconscious, this deep ocean of untapped creativity and energy in your own head. When you sort of fall backwards into that, and it's sort of like the iceberg model of the surface area that you can see, the ocean level, and then this huge mass underneath that you don't even know is there. I found that, like they say in the TM movement, when you let yourself flip backwards with your eyes closed in the dark and just delve into this whole vast ocean of empty, it's not well, it's emptiness. There isn't it's empty, but there is substance to it. When you can tap into that, it makes your waking hours in the conscious 30% or so, maybe less, of your brain much more bearable. And I can't even really explain why. I think once you fall back into that, maybe it puts things in perspective, or throughout the next however many amount of hours, you're more calm. Things are easier to deal with. But that brings me to my wider point of your ability to disconnect from the world around you. I, for one, have been very connected and obsessive with world events and local happenings and countrywide happenings and things that just, I put a lot of energy in and didn't get much out. You hear that's my notes flying away again. It's important to be able to withdraw yourself from the stress and the shit and the muck of the world, because it's overwhelming. And if you're diving into the deep end, you can't expect to not get wet. The wetness being just shit, just the awfulness, the stress. I said the awfulness, but I'll say it again because it's that awful. The awfulness of what you're obsessing over. I have unfollowed and unsubscribed from so many things that I used to religiously listen to and watch, because I've realized that there are some things in the world that are your fight, and there are some things that are other people's fights that you're just following. Like me, I won't get into details, but I was very involved in certain political spheres, locally and nationally. And I started realizing recently that I've been stressing, I've been nauseous over things to do with people who don't even know I fucking exist. Why am I stressing out over that? I have my own little bubble. There are things in the wider bubble that you might pay attention to, but you need to pay attention to your bubble, because if your bubble bursts, the outer bubble doesn't mean jack shit. You really need to get your own life together before you can worry about other people's lives and other people's problems, and even things that become your problems and trickle down to you. I think it's very important to take the time you need to disconnect, reevaluate, reconfigure your own mind, like I've done the past couple months, before coming back, sitting down and saying, okay, I'm now in the condition to do A and B and not C, D, E, etc. yet, but I'm getting there. It's very important to take that sort of shit one step at a time. Because if you try to take all the steps down the stairs at once, that's called falling down the fucking stairs. But if you take one step with your left foot and then one step with your right, and you do one by one, that's called walking down the stairs. And that way you'll actually make it to the bottom of where you're trying to go, if you get my shitty analogy. So, yeah, I just felt like sharing that little thing with you guys. I mean, I know it's not much. It's a very brief bit of notes and brief thing, but I just wanted to give you guys an update. I've been away for a while, and I'd really like to get into this sort of thing again. You'll more often see me on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/DIDDLOTIC, which I will link in the description, as well as my Twitter, which is Twitter/ it's DIDDLOTIC. Pretty much everything's DIDDLOTIC except my Instagram, which is at @TheRealDIDDLOTIC. You can find a lot of what I'm doing there on the Twitter, because I've not committed to a stream schedule specifically, even though I want to and I have an idea. But that way you can keep up to my plans, whether they be last minute or long term. And I hope some of you guys are still around to hear this. I know I've lost a lot of subscribers over the course of the 4 months that I've not put out a single fucking video, because I've needed to really take time for me and take time to get a lot of things situated. But I hope some of you guys are still along for the ride. And I hope that, over time, I am able to pick up more people for the ride. Because as much as I do want to make this lovely night for it, I mean, the more edgy late night talk vibe of, edgy humor, no holes barred, aside from what the internet will allow nowadays, more provocative conversation. I do also want to address real life things. There are shitty, awful, edgy jokes at the expense of other people, which are always funny and fun. I'm not gonna lie. And there is constructive, self-reflective shit to contribute as well. And I think this being a real extension of myself, that I want to do a bit of both on here. So I definitely plan on doing that. And especially, I really plan on doing more of these sort of podcasts. So thank you everybody for listening to this little rant, little update, if you want to call it. I think it's more of that than an actual planned out podcast, although it will be listed as one in the list. I thank you for listening. I hope you'll stick around for whatever the hell I happen to bring up next. And I will see you guys later. Bye now.